Hi guys, okay, we're going to do a little bit of review on some topics that we've been talking out for your e-learning day assignment. We're going to start with combining like terms. So to combine like terms, I have to have the same variable and that variable has to be raised to the same power in order for me to combine them. So a few examples of this. First example, I have x plus 11x. So I have the same variable, x, raised to the same power. So then I can add these together. So x plus 11x gives me 12x. Okay. Second one, I have 4e plus 7e plus 5. I can combine 4e and 7e. They are like terms. So 4e plus 7e would be 11e, and then plus 5 would be my final answer. I cannot combine 11e or 5. Okay, number 3. I have 4 minus 4y plus y minus 3. Okay, remember we want to try to keep the terms that have the variable first. So, and remember that we keep the sign in front of the term. Okay, so this would be negative 4y plus y. If I am adding a positive and a negative, I subtract, and my answer is going to be negative because this has a larger absolute value. So negative 4y plus y would give me negative 3y. And then 4 minus 3 would be positive 1. So my answer would be negative 3y plus 1. One more on this skill. I have 7 minus 5y plus 2 plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to keep the only term that I have with a variable is negative 5y. Okay, so I'm going to put that out front. And then I have 7 plus 2 plus 1. So 7 plus 2 would be 9, plus 1 would be 10. So negative 5y plus 10. Okay, little review on that one. Okay, next we're going to move on to factoring expressions. Okay, remember when we're factoring expressions, the first thing that we did was to find the GCF of both terms. Secondly, we divided both terms by the GCF, or greatest common factor. And then we leave the quotients in the parentheses. So for our examples, first, I have 10x plus 25. Okay, so to find my GCF for 10, I have 1 and 10. Put my x over here. 2 and 5. Those are my factors of 10. Then I'm going to do 25, 1, 25, and then 5 times 5. So if I look for which one is the greatest, my GCF is 5. So I'm going to put 5 outside my parentheses. And now I'm going to divide both terms by the GCF. So 10x divided by 5 is 2x. And 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now I can check my answer. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 5 is 25. So I know that I have factored that correctly. Okay? Let's do another example of 38x minus 12. So if I come over here to do my GCF, I have 38, so 1 and 38, 2, and 16. Nope, 19. And it's not divisible by 3. 4, no. 5, 6, 7. I think that might be it. Okay, so then we have 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So I see here my GCF is 2. Put that outside my parentheses. 38x divided by 2 gives me 19x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And if I want to distribute, I would get 2 times 19x is 38x, and 2 times 6 is 12. Our next example is going to be 3x minus 27. Now remember in class we talked about how if we see one that is the factor of the other, then we know that that's the greatest common factor. So I already know I could put my 3 outside my parentheses. 3x divided by 3 is just x. And 27 divided by 3 is 9, and since there's subtraction, if I want to check my answer, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 9 is 27. Last example for factoring. I have 13j plus 3. Okay? We know that 13 is prime, so we can't pull out a greatest common factor other than 1. Okay, so we're just going to put 1. Okay, and in the Get More Math, they want you to pull the 1 out. Okay, and then put everything else in the parentheses if you can't factor. All right? Okay, our last little review before you start your assignment on Get More Math for this e-practice day is to expand expressions. Now we expand expressions to check our work in factoring, and it's the same thing as applying the distributive property. Okay, so we'll do a couple examples of these. My first example, 5 times x plus 2. So just remember, we have to distribute the 5 to both terms inside the parentheses. So I have 5 times x plus 5 times 2, which is 5x plus 10. Second example, 3 times x plus 9 is 3 times x plus 3 times 9. So 3x plus 27. Our next one, -8 times x plus 2 minus 4. These are going to have some terms we might have to combine in the end. -8 times x plus -8 times 2 minus 4. Okay, so this would be -8x. -8 times 2 is -16 minus 4. And then right here we have two terms that we can combine. -16 minus 4 would be -20. So my final answer is -8x minus 20. Last little one, I'll put over here. Number 4, 1/2 times 4x minus 5. 1/2 of 4x would be 2.
I was going to ask you, can I schedule my interview tomorrow after school?
I haven't scheduled them yet.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Let's finish real quick. So 1/2 times 4x minus 1/2 times 5. So 1/2 times 4x would be 1 times 4x is 4x over 2. 1 times 5 over 2. I can simplify this. 4x divided by 2 is 2x minus 5/2. And 5/2 would be 2 goes into 5 twice with 1/2 left over. So 2x minus 2 and 1/2. Okay, so now you're going to go on to get more math. You're going to do 3 problems for each skill, for each of these 3. That's 9 problems total you need to get correct before you move into mixed review. And then you need to get 3 problems of mixed review correct. That's your assignment for today. And during office hours, since this is the practice, if you have questions, remember to click that hand in the top corner of Get More Math, and I will get with you and answer those questions as soon as I can. All right, good luck.